Hello and welcome. Are you getting ready to travel this year?
Yeah, RV travel is so exciting and, it's a new year and a new future. So let's talk about being intentional with your travel planning. And that is what we're going to talk about today.
That's right.
We're going to get started here in just a minute. The RV life. We're surrounded with the message that it's a life you have to wait until retirement to have and a life that only some can afford. And while it might be reality for those who want to believe that's true, we're on a mission to change that mindset and help people to stop wondering and start wandering to create a life they love.
Join us in conversations about how to design your RV life. We're Bryan Luann Street, and this is the RV Living Show.
Welcome back.
That's
right. This is our first show of 2021, and we are so excited to get started again. Kind of a fresh perspective, right?
Yeah, we got, 2020 was an interesting year.
It was.
Behind us now. We're looking forward to a new year.
And this is the first time you can say hindsight's 2020, right? It's like, that's over. Let's, we all have a fresh hope and a clean slate, I should say, for the new year as far as our RV travel goals go.
That's right.
So we want to talk to you today about being intentional about travel planning. Last year was kind of feeling defeated, like you really couldn't go to all the places you wanted to go. Maybe your trip got canceled and you had to reschedule for this year, or maybe you ditched the whole thing and you just want to start over again. And so we're here to talk to you about how to make this year just a little bit better, and maybe change your focus a little bit about being more intentional on using your RV.
That's right. We're starting with a clean slate this year.
Clean slate. So we want to talk to you today about setting your RV travel goals. And so we want to talk to you maybe about taking some time off work, like talking to your employer now if you're working, and really set up your year so you can ask for the time off that you're going to want to be gone in your RV. If you're not working, you won't have to worry about that. Yahoo for you. But those of you who do have to make a more strategic plan, think about it now. Don't wait until this summer when you want to take off and find out that somebody else took off that same week. So you want to be proactive.
That's right. You think last year we set goals, and maybe if you're like us, many of those goals we set got put aside.
Yes.
So it's time to put that in like the rear view mirror and let's move forward here.
That's right.
Right. So I always like to think, don't fit RVing into your schedule. Make RVing, schedule your schedule around RVing.
Well, that's what we used to do before we were full-timers, right? We would pick out our weekends that we wanted to be somewhere, and we would plan different destinations so that we could use our RV with purpose and intention, instead of, waiting till Friday night and saying, oh, I wish I had better prepared, or now you want to go to this great campground and it's full for the weekend because you didn't, set that up.
Think ahead. Planning ahead, because like the special around holidays, you really should plan ahead.
Yes. So right now is the time to plug into your calendar the weeks or the weekends that you want to RV. And we challenge you to go RVing. If you're not full time, do it once a month, or unless you have this trip plan this year, maybe, schedule out at least one weekend a month, plan your vacation out, get those goals on the calendar. So the next thing we want to talk about, and the next way to be intentional about travel planning, is to get your RV ready to go, because now's the time.
That's right. Right now, most likely, if you're not full time, your RV is sitting somewhere, and now's a great time to plan all this, any schedule, any maintenance, anything you need to take care of. Get that all taken care of. So when it's ready to go, or actually the season changes and you're ready to get out there, you got all that taken care of. You can just put that out of your mind and just pack that RV and take off.
Yeah, I mean, right now you may be sitting in a state where there's lots of snow. It's cold. you're just thinking about the fireplace and bundling up. But if you think ahead and you can schedule things to go to be able to have done at your RV maintenance place or wherever you get your RV maintenance done, or go ahead and order the supplies to actually do your maintenance and have those ready for when the weather warms up a little bit and you can get out there and do something to it.
Yeah, like you're talking about, just go ahead and schedule your maintenance for even a month or two from now when the weather's starting to change.
Yeah, because you don't want to wait until March and then start thinking about that, because if you do have to schedule maintenance at wherever you have it done, your local dealership, they're going to be full by then, because everybody wants to get out and start using their RV.
Get it all taken care of.
So there's a couple packing tips I wanted to talk about in this part about getting your RV ready to go. So start going through the things that you normally pack your RV with, and maybe put them in these Rubbermaid containers that you can just take right into the RV when you're ready to start packing it. So you're not, going all over the house grabbing everything. If you get everything in a container or 2 containers that you can just take to your RV when you want to travel, it will make things so much easier. And now that you may be, in a winter situation, this can be something that you can be proactive with.
Yeah, we did that on our first RV, and that worked out really well.
We did. We kind of got our groove, and we got those Rubbermaid containers from Walmart, and we said, we're going to put our stuff in there. And then when we got back from our trips, I would take those, I would do the towels and the sheets, and I would put them right back in those containers so that I knew that I was ready for the next trip.
Yeah, it worked out really good.
So as we talk about, planning up getting ahead with your maintenance and, maybe organizing all of your things about getting your RV ready to go, look over whether you might need new tires this year. Check your tire dates. Look at your RV maintenance checklist and see if there's something that you did that's going to need to be done that you haven't done in a few years even. Things like that. That's where you're really going to want to spend a lot of your time.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So we want you to stay tuned, because we actually have a word from our sponsor. This episode of the RV Living Show is brought to you by the Complete RV Travel Planner, the only travel planner made specifically for the RV lifestyle. Get yours today at rvtravelplanner.com. So our little plug there for our RV travel planner is really strategic right now, because our next thing we want to talk to you about is to create a plan with your goals. You may have the time set aside from work. You may have you've thought about your maintenance. You're getting, proactive on that, and you're getting those things done. Well, now you want to create that plan, right? So you have those weekends, but what do you want to do with them? You have that week. What do you want to do with them?
It also is a good time of the year to start searching out some new destinations, some new things to put in those plans.
Yeah, things that you maybe haven't thought of before, add to your bucket list. As you're watching TV this winter, you watch travel shows or different things about where you could go in your RV. Put them on a list so that you can actually pull from those ideas and get ready to travel this year.
Great.
So, creating a plan with your goals is where the rubber meets the road. You can have your time off, but unless you're proactive right now at thinking about where you want to go and where you want to be at these times of the year, you may miss out on actually being able to go there.
It is so true, because, there's many these campgrounds that are so popular in the summer months, or even depends on where you're going at certain times of the year. You really got to plan way ahead, sometimes even a year in advance. I always like to, we have the campground reservation log. Take use of that, because you can record everything in there. You can put your dates in there, and especially your cancellation policies if you have to change your plans.
Yeah, that's huge, because thinking about going ahead or planning ahead is, we know what happened last year, right? And we hopefully aren't going to have a repeat of any of that. We hope that we're going to be able to make our plans and go there and be there. But even if COVID hadn't happened and you had made reservations, you may have had to go change them. And so that is really an important part of travel planning, is making sure you know what your cancellation policy is. Because you can go ahead and make your reservations, but if you know what your cancellation policy is, then you know whether you can get out of it or if you need to change your plans at the last minute. So we want to offer you today our campground reservation log, and there's the link going across the bottom of the screen where you can get this campground reservation log, and it will help you, make your reservations and record them and keep track of where you're going and what amenities they offer and things like that. And one of the important places, like he said, was the cancellation policy.
You got to have that. You got to know what the policies are.
That's right. So, right now you could be looking ahead at that destination where you want to go. Go ahead and make your reservation so you don't miss out on it, because if you're in a winter destination right now, where you live, when you get out, that everybody gets in a frenzy to just get out in the beautiful weather. And making those reservations will help you not miss out on that time of going where you want to go. So, when you figure that out, start researching what you're going to do there.
I was going to mention that, because when you make that destination, is research what is nearby where you can actually, a day trip. We love to take day trips to go see different things.
That's right. Or what amenities are at the campground if you really like to do certain types of things. Like we like to play pickleball. If your campground's got a pickleball court, things like that you can take advantage of. Or if you're just going to completely chill out and relax, that's great too. You don't have to go all the time. In fact, we really like to take our time and do things at a more even pace. More
relaxing pace. Let's say that.
Yes. So you can grab this campground reservation log and you can start making your plans. We hope that this helps you as you start making your plans to move forward this year. If you have any questions, you can put some things in the comments and let us know that we're watching with us here. And then we can talk about travel planning if you have any questions. So let's go ahead and recap what we talked about today. We talked about setting your RV travel goals, right? This is the time to do it. The beginning of the year, make sure that you're intentional about setting aside those dates and having your goals so that you know what you need to fill in. And the next thing is?
The next thing is
to get your RV ready to go.
That's right in front of you on the screen. But get your RV ready to go. That's very important, because that RV sitting there, there's maintenance that needs to be done. We just talked about that. Let's go ahead and get that on the books and get that taken care of.
And then you're going to want to create a plan with your goals. Get that plan in place. Go ahead and make your schedule, and that way you won't miss out on what you really want to do this year. You probably have a whole lot of things that didn't happen last year that you can put into these strategic times that you're going to plan to use your RV. And the most important thing is to not let it sit idle, right? Because we've talked about this before, where you don't want your RV to just be a piece of yard art or something that has turned into a regret.
Right. Getting in the RV, getting out there and just taking time off from work and relaxing, that in itself is just a wonderful experience.
It is. And that's what you bought it for. Right. That's the whole reason. So next week, we're going to be talking about assessing your RV readiness. And that readiness is all about, whether or not you're ready to start RVing. So this is going to be a great episode for any new RVers that are out there, people who are either going to buy their first RV or that just bought their RV at the end of last year, and they're just not quite sure, and they don't feel ready. So next week is going to be assess your RV readiness. So we'd love it if you would join us here, same time, same place, YouTube and Facebook. Yeah. And we're here almost every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
There's some great tips coming up for next week.
So we're going to go ahead and go to our comments and see who's watching with us here live. So Tina Mack says hello, and Joanne Davis says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys. We're so glad you joined us on our first show of the year. We took a couple weeks off, and we had a great time with our grandchildren down in Florida. In fact, we're still in Florida right now. A little it's been chilly waking up in the mornings. You know, we've had the heat on, but during the day it warms up, beautiful sunshine, so it's nice. But so if you have a few minutes, go ahead and post in the comments, where are you thinking of traveling this year? You know, where's the thing that you're looking forward to the most? And we'll take a second and we'll kind of chat about that and see if anyone wants to share with us where they want to go. So we have thought a lot. Last year we were supposed to go west when COVID hit, and then we changed our plans, and we spent quite a few months actually kind of tooling around Virginia, didn't we?
We did. It was a great, beautiful state. We had a great time up there.
We did. It was beautiful. We took our time. And so this year we're either going to try to make that trip west again, or if we feel like it's a little too close to, you know, this year with COVID just kind of, you know, hopefully going to be in our rearview mirror completely, we may head up the East Coast. We haven't super decided yet which direction we're going to go. But we do have plans for both directions, so that when we decide, we're gonna head that way. So, yeah. So
we do know where we're going to be for the next couple of months.
Well, we do. We have reservations for all those. So we practice what we preach. We just don't have the whole year in reservations yet, due to, I think everyone's a little kind of stunned from last year. Yeah. So, and you know, it's hard work making the reservations and then changing them. So Joanne says that she has travel plans to Texas, Arizona, and everywhere outside of California. Can't wait to buy our new RV home. Oh, that's awesome. See, 2021's looking better already, right? You're going to buy a new RV. Let us know, what kind of RV are you going to get? And Tina says she's not going anywhere till the COVID is under control.
I can understand that.
And, you know, it's disappointing to travel places and not being able to see them in their full, what do you call, like operation, right? Yeah. Because it's almost like you've wasted time and money. Now, as full-timers, this is our home, and we put it wherever we want to be. So it did calm down a little bit as far as our travel. But as far as COVID goes,
yeah, sightseeing was a real different problem.
Yes, we didn't get to do as much. We took a lot more road trips where we just sightseed from our car. We did, we rode more bike trails. We kind of changed our focus from seeing where we were or seeing sightseeing destinations, and instead of being, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Somebody drove by outside, and it was like,
you just mentioned the destinations. We've seen some destinations, but there are so many things there that were closed.
Yes,
their offices were closed, the restaurants were closed. So it really was sad. It was a sad time of year.
Yeah. Tina says she's from Pennsylvania. Yeah, so that's there's quite a few thousand trails up there. We're thinking of maybe coming to Pennsylvania after April. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. That we have our list, and we're working from that. And Joanne says Class A all the way, looking at all the options. And Tina says it was too hard getting home from California last March. Yes. Now I can understand that. We had enough foresight where we went, and we were already in place in Texas when it all shut down. We were very lucky that we weren't somewhere having to travel. So we sheltered in place in a campground that we were already at. And I can imagine the stress of doing that was pretty bad. So
yes, I could only imagine.
I can understand how you feel. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to go, and we're going to see you next week. Like we said before, same time, same place. We love that you joined us today. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes, Happy New Year's.
And we'll see you next week with assessing your RV readiness. See you then.
See you then.
Thank you for joining us for the RV Living Show. We hope this episode helps you in creating an RV life you love.
Until next time, we encourage you to stop wondering and start